Good morning, everybody. My name is Peter C. We're here at Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Fredrick, Colorado, and today we're going to be checking out a brand new 2026 Renegade Valencia. This is my absolute favorite Renegade Valencia floor plan there is. This is the 39RB. Renegade just came out with this about 6 months ago, and this is the first triple slide Renegade Valencia. So if you're looking for a Valencia, but you want that extra living space, this is the perfect model for you. The one we're looking at today, this one was done with the full body Polaris paint. So it's just a nice clean gray all the way across. And we also did the blackout package with it. So you're gonna have the matte black wheels and the black grille in the front. So just all gray and black, really clean look. To get started, we're gonna go around the exterior, take a quick tour around that, and then we'll head on inside. So starting off up front, so this is built on a Freightliner S2 RV chassis, and it's powered by a Cummins ISB 6.7 liter engine. So that's 360 horsepower and 800 foot-pounds of torque. And what's really nice about Super Cs is if you're a truck guy, you know, you like to service your own things, it is so easy to get in here and do belt changes, fluids, filters, anything like that. You can also get these serviced at pretty much every truck service center in the country. So a lot more service availability than you might have on something like a Class A. And your hood here is just on gas struts, so you can go ahead and just push it down and it'll lower itself back into place. And then going around the front here, this is going to be the Caliber 9 blackout grille. Again, that's part of that blackout package. So there's almost no chrome on this coach other than the little Freightliner logo right there up front. Now coming down our driver's side first. So you're gonna have your breakaway mirrors here on either side. So if you need to fit this into a tight garage or something, that just gives you just a little bit more clearance. Really easy to climb in and out of the S2 RV chassis as well. You just have two small steps here. So it's not like you're climbing up into one of the Cascadia chassis. It's a lot lower down to the ground. And we do have a grab handle here right inside the door to help you safely get in there. Right below the driver door is going to be your DEF fill for your DEF tank. Your diesel fill is actually going to be a little farther back. And this is going to have a 100-gallon diesel fill tank. This isn't going to be like the M2 chassis where you have those 50-gallon saddlebags that you have to worry about filling both of them. It is a single 100-gallon diesel tank that's mounted underneath the frame rails. So just one fill and one tank. In our first compartment here, we're going to have our lithium batteries. So the standard for the Valencia would be to have 3 AGM house batteries, but we upgraded this one to lithium. So you're going to have 3 100 amp hour lithium batteries. These are going to be charged by your solar as well. On the roof, you have 3 200-watt solar panels, so 600 watts in total. And you also have a 3,000-watt inverter that's going to be on our passenger side. Now, right here is going to be our propane tank. So this is a 20-gallon propane tank, and this is going to power our continuous water heater as well as our coach heating. Those will both pull off of that propane tank. And honestly, having the propane, I think, is really nice for Renegades because a lot of people that are buying Super Cs, you want to boondock a little more, you want to be a little bit more off-grid, and having the combination of battery power as well as propane just helps you extend the amount of time you can stay off-grid because all of your heating is going to be powered by propane and not by battery power. Now, our next 2 bays here are going to be our holding tanks. So this is one of the things Renegade does really well. You have 150 gallons of fresh water, 75 gallons of black, and 75 gallons of gray. So these are your black and gray tanks out here. Both of them are insulated and they have 12-volt heating pads on them. And that tube underneath there is going to be the tube for your black tank macerator pump. Next bay here is going to be split. So on the left side, we have our wet bay, and on the right side, just a little bit of storage. You get an amazing amount of exterior storage on this floor plan. But here in our wet bay, you have your whole house water filter mounted over here on the left side. You have your sea level tank monitoring system up here. So that's going to allow you to see your fresh gray, black tank capacities as well as your battery voltage. We have our flow jet switch. That's our black tank macerator. What I really like about the wet bays with Renegades is all of the wording is actually engraved right into the metal. You don't have stickers or anything like that that's going to peel off over time. So it just stays really clean. And we also have a water spigot down here that you can connect a hose to. So if you need to tap into that 150-gallon fresh water tank to clean out or clean off something on your exterior, maybe you got dogs that you want to be able to spray off, you have a hose right there to be able to do that. Right above that's going to be our Truma AquaGo. This is just the access door for it. So your Truma AquaGo, again, this is powered by propane, and this is going to be your continuous hot water source. Coming a little farther down, up here is going to be the door for our diesel fill. So again, 100-gallon diesel fuel tank. And then our generator. So this is an 8,000 watt Onan quiet diesel generator. So this will pull off of the 100-gallon diesel tank for the chassis. And again, you know, combination between a very large generator, 100 gallons of diesel fuel, all of that solar and that propane, you can stay off grid for quite a while in something like this. And then our final compartment here on the driver's side is going to house our 50 amp shore power cord on a power reel. So there's going to be a switch for it in there on the right side. And then that black box in the back is going to be your transfer switch as well as your surge protector. But you also have room to use all of this as storage as well. So tons of storage back here. Now coming around the back side of the coach, I really love how they make the wording into this. It's a really cool logo. So this is going to have a backup camera up top. And we can also do a trailer camera on this if you wanted one. So down here, you're gonna have your Gen Y towing hitch and the 7-pin connection. So the S2 RV chassis has a 12,500 pound towing capacity. And if you look down below, we also have the Renegade mud flap on there. All right, so now we'll head down our passenger side, and all of your storage for this coach is all on the passenger side. Every single one of these bays here on your campsite are all storage. So in our first bay right here, well actually first two bays, this is going to be one large pass-through storage bay. So passes all the way through. If you have fishing poles, tables, chairs, any longer items, you have a nice long bay to be able to put that in. And one of the awesome things about Renegade's exterior bays is, you know, you can hear it. These aren't going to be, you know, rotocast plastic or anything like that that they might use on like a Thor. All of your exterior storage bays are all solid steel. So very, very durable, and they're all covered in this felted carpet through here. And if you look up in here on the right side, we also have a quick connect for our LP tank back there with a little drop down port below it. So if you wanted to hook up an exterior grill or anything like that that you wanted to power by propane, you have that quick connect right there to be able to do that. And then our next two bays are going to be another pass-through storage bay. So just another huge storage bay. And if you look up in the top right side, we're also gonna have outlets out there with a little port that you can unscrew to drop cords through. So if you wanted to hook up an extension cord out here on your campsite to provide power, you know, to anything out here, you'll have outlets right under there to do that. And you can drop those cords through the port so you don't have to worry about leaving these doors open. And then our final storage bay right here. And this is also gonna house that 3,000 watt inverter. So our inverter is mounted to the roof of that. We also have our slide locks in there, as well as an air chuck or air hose that you can tie into the air chuck if you want to use the coach's air compressor to air up trailer brakes or anything like that. You can use that hose to do that. And one thing I also love to point out about Renegades too is their doors, I think, are just second to none because they use this dual latch system. So you don't have to worry, like you can slam these shut and they will close every single time. And then above that, we're gonna have our exterior TV. So this is a little 40-inch exterior TV with a Bluetooth soundbar right below it. So if you wanna use this soundbar, just have a speaker on your campsite. Again, this is Bluetooth, so you could connect this to your phone, use it any way like that. We also have some little charging ports in here as well. You're gonna have two USB outlets out here. So if you need to plug in any kind of personal devices, you have a little bit of power for that out here on your campsite. And then the other thing I want to mention before we head inside, because this is kind of unique to the 39 RB floor plan, is this huge dual pitch awning. So these dual pitch awnings are great. If you can see what it does, you know, they call it a dual pitch because it's going to go out a little bit and then pitch down at a steeper angle out towards the side. That provides a lot greater angle of shade to the sun, and that dual pitch awning is only available on the 39 RB and the 38 BB floor plan. So you can't get this on the smaller 36-foot floor plan, but just provides a great angle for shade out here. All right, so now we'll go ahead and head on inside. We have our power entry step here and our keypad entry on the door handle. And then as we head inside here, you'll have quite a bit of storage underneath your footwells. So if you wanted to use that for shoes, I always think that's a great spot to, you know, keep your shoes all here right in the footwell, because as you're heading out the door, you can sit down here, put on your shoes or your boots. You don't have to bring all that, you know, any mud or anything tracked into the house. You can keep it all right here in the footwell. And you do have, they started this in 2026 actually. The inside of your footwell is all this hard surface, the same hard surface you have for your countertops. So not felt or carpet or anything. It's really easy to wipe out this whole footwell if you get it messy. Now, coming in the entryway, we'll take a look on the right side here real quick at just some of the controls. So we're gonna have one of our Xantrex inverter controllers there. We'll have some manual light switches, just master light switches up top. So an interior master on and off. You can extend and retract the awning from here and control your awning and porch lights, as well as your cargo lights. We have our fire extinguisher mounted right here inside the door. And then below that is going to be our house battery disconnect. So this is what just disconnects your house battery from everything in the house. We have our entry step override switch. So if you don't want your entry step to be activated with the door, you put on that override and your step will just stay out. Even if this override switch is on, your step still will retract as soon as you put this coach into drive. So if you turn it on and you put it into drive, your step will automatically attract no matter what the override switch position is in. And then we have our e-start switch. Your e-start switch is what links your house and chassis batteries together. So if you're off grid and you kill your chassis battery, which is pretty easy to do on these big trucks, you can jump your chassis battery off of your house batteries. And again, you have your generator as well. So if your house batteries are dead too, you can use your generator to charge up those house batteries and then jump your chassis battery. All right, so now we'll take a quick tour of the living area. So I always like to start this off having the coach completely closed so you guys can see what it's like with the slides closed. Still have more than enough room to be able to walk through here really comfortably. A lot of Super Cs you'll kind of have to, you know, shuffle sideways. You can walk straight to the back, straight to your mid bathroom without having to shuffle or anything. If you want to get into your refrigerator, this door will open almost all the way out. So everything you'd need to do in this coach, you could do with your slides closed. You could operate everything in your kitchen even, but we'll go ahead and put those slides out. And again, what is really awesome about the 39 RB floor plan is this is the first triple slide Valencia. So we have opposing living slides in here. So on our driver's side is going to be our bigger hydraulic slide. So Renegade uses hydraulics for their heavier slides. And then their smaller, lighter weight slides are going to be electric slides. We'll go ahead and extend that hydraulic slide all the way out. And then this is a great opportunity to point out the difference between this and other floor plans. So right now we have one slide extended. This is the amount of living area that you would have with any floor plan that only has one living area slide. So like a 36 SB Valencia, a 38 RB Valencia, this is the amount of living area that you would have. Now, when I go ahead and extend our kitchen slide here, you can see how much that's going to open up all of our living area. And again, this kitchen slide is going to be electric slide. Renegade does use electric slides on any of their smaller, lighter weight slides. All right, and now that is fully extended. So you can see we have an incredible amount of living space in here. I mean, I would say from your countertops in your kitchen all the way to your couches is probably about 6 to 6.5 feet of space. So really, really comfortable. And if you needed to bring a lot of people with you, or you wanted to have a lot of people sleep inside your motorhome, you could easily set up cots, blow-up beds, anything like that on the floor. So now we'll go over some of the furniture in here. Actually, let me get the rest of our lighting on. One second here. There we go. All right, so on our driver's side, we're going to have all of our seating. So this one was done with the theater seating. We could option this, or if you wanted, we could actually swap these out for a pull-out couch if you wanted even more sleeping capacity. But we did do this one with the theater seating. Now, what I really love about these theater seating is these are actually heated and vibrating. They're not exactly massaging, because they don't have like any tips in them that are going to massage you, but they are vibrating. So really comfortable to sit down in at the end of the day, just really help you relax. And these are powered theater seats as well. So I'll go ahead and put this one all the way out for you guys. All your controls are going to be right here on the cup holders. We have this all the way extended out. I mean, you could easily sleep here if you wanted to. Both of these theater seats are going to have seat belts as well. In total, you're gonna have seat belts for 4 passengers in the rear of this coach. You'll have 2 more in the dinette, which we'll get to in a second. Right next to our theater seats as well, we do have an outlet here. So you'll have 2 110 outlets, a USB and a USB-C charging port. So if you wanna sit there and play on your laptop, iPad, any of your personal devices, you'll have charging for it right there. Now, all of your windows here in the living area are all gonna be opening windows as well. So behind this, we're gonna have 2 screw out windows. So these are the little tilt out windows, just provide a little bit of airflow. And then this window will slide all the way up to provide nice cross breeze through here. All of your windows also have built-in manual day and night shades. So there's our day shades and there's our night shades. And what Renegade does really well with their windows is these valances are fully finished off. So you don't have a lot of light creep coming in from underneath the sides. When you put your blackout shades down, they do a really good job of truly blacking out the coach. And then we also have 3 storage cabinets above that. And all of your cabinetry throughout this coach is all real maple hardwood. So the highest quality, materials that you can get. They're all very, very stiff hinges. You don't have anything that's gonna feel wobbly or cheap in here. All right, so moving down to our theater seating. Our dinette. So this is actually gonna be what's called a dream dinette. So right now it's set up as a dinette. You can have 2 people seated here on either side. So comfortably could fit 4 adults here to be able to eat around this table. And then this front facing seat that I'm sitting in right now is gonna have 2 seat belts. So that's where our other 2 seat belts are. Again, 4 seat belts in the rear of this coach, plus the 2 up front. You could safely have 6 passengers in here as you're going down the road. Now, this has your outlets built into the tabletop here, as well as our cup holders. So we have some 110 outlets, USB and USB-C charging ports. Again, we have opening windows, our tilt-out windows, and our day and night shades here built into this really large panoramic window. This is about a 40-inch window, I would say. But this dinette is also going to double as a sleeper. So this is called a dream dinette. We're gonna have a little lever underneath here that I'll pull. And then this whole thing will just drop down on that track in the back. Now it'll drop down all the way underneath these cushions. You have to move these cushions out of the way to drop it down all the way, but it'll sit all the way down here, and then we'll have some cushion inserts in the back closet that will turn this into a bed. Now I always stress with people, this is not going to be a bed for adults. This is a bed for children. This is not gonna be long enough for, unless you're about 5 feet, then maybe you could sleep on this diagonally. But for the most part, this is not going to be a sleeping arrangement for any adult passengers, but it is really great for kids. Go ahead and raise it back up and then put our travel lock back on. All right, and then shifting to our other side, we'll talk about the kitchen in this. So first off, our cooktop. The Valencia is always going to have a gas cooktop. So again, we have a 20-gallon propane tank that will fuel this. It's a 3-burner gas cooktop. You just have your little removable covers right there. And your hard surface countertop is actually matching what's in your stepwell. It'll match everything throughout the coach. So all of your bathrooms, everything in here that with hard surface is all going to match your countertops, and the backsplashes will all match as well. So we have that nice tile backsplash. It's going to be the same thing you see in both of the bathrooms. We also have outlets right here above the countertop. So always love to see outlets in the kitchen, because if you have coffee makers, tea makers, any small appliances that you like to keep plugged in and sat on your countertop, it's great to have a dedicated power source right there for it. And then our big stainless steel basin sink right there. And we also have a sprayer wand for our hose. And I really love the faucets they put in this with this black and little gold accents. It's just a really nice accent to the coach, and the gold matches all of the handles for the cabinetry throughout here. We'll have another opening window here in the kitchen. So just another screw out window. And again, the day and night shades built into it. And then for our overhead storage, we're gonna have a pass-through storage compartment up here. This is gonna be your big book of manuals that'll come with every single Renegade coach. We also have our convection microwave. So convection microwaves are really great to have in motorhomes because we don't usually have ovens, but a convection microwave is going to serve pretty much the same purpose. If you need to cook a pizza or anything like that, it's a lot better done in a convection microwave versus just a regular microwave. And then we'll take a look at some of our storage underneath here. So our first compartment here is going to house a couple of our remotes. So these are all the remotes for the TVs and the sound bars through here. They also always send them with an extra water filter and the paint codes. So you'll always have a little bit of touch-up paint with every single Renegade. Usually if it was a multicolor paint scheme, like a 4-color paint scheme, we'd have 4 of these. Obviously this one is just gray. So we have one little tub of gray paint if you ever need to touch up anything in the coach, if you get any scratches on it or anything. And then below that is going to be this big cabinet. So you have your little inserts in here, really good spot for skillets, cutting boards, or a lot of people will use them for your countertop covers. So if you're sitting at your campsite, obviously you don't want to have your countertop covers in place. So a lot of people will take them out and just slide them into those little slots there. It's great storage for that. And then this heavier drawer below does have a travel lock on it, just because you're going to put a lot of cargo in there. When the drawers are a little bit heavy, you always want to have travel locks on them so they can't open. We'll have 3 drawers here in the middle. And then some more room underneath our sink. We also have our trash can under there. And then finally, one more little kind of pantry cabinet on all the way on the right of the kitchen here. And these are all adjustable shelves as well. So you can adjust that, make it accommodate whatever items you need to put in there. Then we also have one more outlet right here. Now this outlet will be obstructed when you close the slides all the way. So anything that you plugged in there, you'll just have to unplug whenever you get underway. But you know, really good spot right here for a coffee maker or a tea maker or something like that. Again, having power source right there for it. And then take a look at our refrigerator real quick here. So this is going to be a 2-door residential style refrigerator, and this will be 12 volt. So our freezer up top with an ice maker and a couple of drawers down below. And then the little travel lock's gonna be built in right there. Now, our final sleeping arrangement in the coach, because we talked about our dinette that you could sleep probably 2 children. This one is done with the cab over bunk. So your cab over bunk is gonna be your primary area if you wanted to sleep more adults. Obviously you have the king bed in the rear for 2 of you, but if you wanted to bring more passengers, you can easily accommodate 2 more adults up here in your cab over bunk. This cab over bunk is probably a little bit bigger than a queen bed, I'd say, and actually quite a bit longer. This one has its own TV up there. So if you're traveling with other adults, they'll have their own TV up there. One important thing about the cab over bunks with Renegade is they fully insulate everything in this cab over bunk. They actually build a steel cage insert that goes in there and then fully pack it with insulation. So you don't have to worry too much about cooking out anybody that you put up there. You also can't see it, but there's gonna be 2 dedicated AC vents right on the inside of this lip that blow right into your cab over bunk. So again, really important that you don't have to worry about anybody getting too hot or too cold when they're sleeping up there. We also have our kind of moon roof up front, and that's gonna have a power shade, which can be controlled right here on this little control panel. So for whoever is sleeping up there, they'll be able to control it from the cab over bunk itself. So if you want to sit up there and leave it open and watch the stars, or close it and fully black it out, it's totally up to them. We have a little bit of storage up here as well. So if you need a spot to put a cup of water, drink, or your devices, you're gonna have an outlet with the USB and USB-C charging ports there as well. So you'll have some spots to store and charge your devices. And then finally, you do have a curtain here. So our privacy curtain up front. Again, if you are traveling with other adults or maybe older kids or anything, it's really important for you guys to kind of have your own space. So obviously you have the bedroom in the rear, but having a cab over bunk that they can, kind of fully isolate off is a really good feature, just so everyone kind of has their own space in the coach. And then cool thing with this cab over bunk is the way this will just push in. So these mattresses are made kind of slanted like so. So when you push this in, they'll just stack on top of each other. And now that's all the way up front. So if I need to get into the cab, really easy to just step in here and sit down. I don't have to duck under anything and worry about hitting my head. All right, so now we're gonna head back towards our bathroom and our kitchen. I'm sorry, our bathroom and our bedroom. So here in the hallway, we'll take a look at some more of the storage in this coach. So right here midship, we have, I guess this could, be a pantry or a closet, however you want to use it. We have these two big adjustable shelves up top, and then some drawers down below. Again, I love to point out the cabinetry in Renegade because it's just so beautiful. All this real maple hardwood. They use all dovetail joints for all of their drawers and everything. It's just really, it's really nice to look at. It's a very nice aesthetic appeal. When you open everything, you can just feel the quality in this coach. And then at the bottom is going to be our breakers and fuses. All right, and then next up, so this one was optioned with the washer dryer. If you didn't want a washer dryer, this could just all be storage. You could put some curtain rods in there and make this hanging storage. We could put some adjustable shelves in there. However you want. Every single Renegade Valencia will be pre-plumbed for a washer dryer. But adding the washer dryer is optional. And with this one, if a customer came along and said, hey, I love that Valencia, but I don't want a washer dryer, we can remove these and put shelving in there or anything like that if you wanted that. All right, and then we'll head into our half bath. So the 39 RB is a bath and a half. You're gonna have a half bath right here midship. I get a nice shot, and then I'll head in there and open up all the cabinets for you guys. So up above, we have a pretty big cabinet up here. Good spot for towels or anything, and we do have another outlet if you needed to charge something up there. You're also gonna have one of your exhaust fans here in the bathroom, so make sure you pull out all that stale air out of here. And then some cabinetry back here, a little bit of cabinet space. And this is going to be an opening medicine cabinet as well. On our countertop, again, this is going to be a matching hard surface countertop and tile backsplash to exactly what you have in the kitchen. And we have another outlet here in the bathroom. So if you bring an electric toothbrush or any kind of, small personal appliances like that you like to keep in the bathroom, you have an outlet right there above your countertop to charge it. And then some more storage down underneath. And this cabinet door is also going to be where the toilet paper holder is, so you just have to slide open that door. And then we also have one small drawer in here. All right, and then one thing to note real quickly, on your control pad right here, this is where you're going to be able to control that exhaust fan, as well as your water pump switch and some of your lighting switches. All right, so you know what? Actually, I'm going to have to get back up to the controls so I can open the bed slide here. So we'll go ahead and run our bedroom slide out. And this bed is going to be what's called an RV King mattress. So it's not a full 72 by 80 inch. It's actually 66 inches. So it's 6 inches less width than a regular king, and it's 66 inches by 74 inches. So 6 inches less each way than a standard king size mattress, but it's still gonna be bigger than a regular queen mattress. All right. And the reason they do that too is it allows you to actually be able to get around your bed. They used to put full-size king mattresses in these Renegades, but the complaint from customers was always that they couldn't get around the bed to be able to make the bed. So you can see I can comfortably stand back here and, you know, tuck the blankets in or get to anything around the bed. It's easier to make the bed than having a tiny little sliver of space to stand in. So above our bed, we're gonna have some cabinetry all the way atop. This is one large pass-through storage bay. We also have an outlet up there, so if you needed to plug in anything up there to charge. And then we also have some little lamp lights in here. So both of your lights right here are going to have a blue light as well as a lamp light, and they also have a USB charging port built right into them. And then there's going to be an overhead control panel that sits right over your head as you're in the bed. This allows you to do just 3 things. Number one, you can start or stop your generator from there. So if you get in bed at the end of the night and you realize, oh shoot, my generator's still running, you don't have to get out of bed. You just reach up and touch the button right there. You have master light switches, and you also have a water pump switch on that control panel. Now, we're gonna have opening windows on either side of our bed. So if you're someone that likes to, you know, have a kind of camping feel, you really wanna get the fresh air in when you're sleeping, these are gonna open all the way up on either side of you, which is going to allow a nice cross breeze through here. And then again, day shades and night shades built right into the valances. On our kind of nightstands, you're going to have a little section down here to keep your cell phone or any personal devices, and you have another outlet there with the USB and USB-C charging ports. So again, just really great spot to keep your phone or anything at night. And then we have some hard surface countertop here. So if you're sitting here at night with a beverage, glass of wine, cup of coffee, anything like that, you have a spot to put it. And a little bit of storage in our nightstands as well. All these little adjustable shelves in here. All right, and then one more thing to note about the bed, because this is an important aspect with Renegades, is underneath here is going to be where all of our fresh water is. So if you can take a look under there, you're gonna have 2 75-gallon fresh water tanks. Now, the reason that's important is these freshwater tanks are up here in the cab. They're not down below, down below the chassis where they could get cold or you have to worry about them freezing. They're gonna be up here in the cab with you. So as long as you keep the temperature inside the coach, a comfortable temperature for you, you're never gonna have to worry about those freshwater tanks freezing. All right, and then shifting into all of our wardrobe space in here. So on either side, we'll have this big wardrobe with some hanging storage up top. This is also where your ladder for the cab over bunk is going to attach. You just have some little clips in here for that. So if you want a place to store your ladder, a lot of the time though, people just store that ladder in the cab over bunk itself. You can just lay it up there. And then we'll have a bunch of drawers here. And all the same arrangement is going to be over here on the other side. And right in the middle, we'll have even more storage. And this little one right here is actually going to be sort of our AV cabinet. So you have an HDMI connection in here, cable hookup. So this is for your bedroom TV. One very, very large drawer right in the center. And then 2 more small drawers all the way down here at the bottom. Our window in here is also going to be our emergency exit. So again, if you want to get a lot of airflow through in your bedroom, you can open this all the way out, prop it open, and you get a ton of airflow through here. A lot of people will actually open these and then put a little box fan right here just to suck in the fresh air and push it into your bedroom. Good option, again, if you're off-grid, boondocking, and you don't want to run your ACs. Great option to get a lot of airflow through here in your bedroom. We have another outlet here on your countertop, and we're also going to have one of the control panels for the coach in here. Now, I'll show you guys fully how the control panel works up in the kitchen, but just to mention, this is going to be the exact same control panel that we're going to take a look at in a minute. So everything in the coach can be controlled from right here in the bedroom. All right, and then heading back into our bathroom. Make sure that light's on. Okay, so this is going to have your corner shower. Take our little travel lock off the door right there. So all of the Valencias will have a corner shower. If you want a square shower, you have to go all the way up to something like a Verona LE. But these corner showers really are plenty roomy enough. So I'm about 6 foot. I have more than enough headroom in here. Anyone up to like 6'8", honestly, would have more than enough headroom in here. You know, I can easily raise my arms. I don't feel like I'm sitting in a coffin or anything like that. And you also are gonna have a shelf right here. So it just gives you a place to be able to sit in the shower. If you need to be able to sit down and, you know, shave your legs or do anything like that, it's really nice to have a bench that's built into your shower. And then all of our storage here in the bathroom. So again, we're gonna have our mirror with an opening medicine cabinet. The matching hard surface countertop and tile backsplash to what we have everywhere else in the coach. We have another outlet here in our bathroom. So again, if you have toothbrushes or anything like that you need to keep charged or plugged in, you'll have charging right there above your countertop. And one big closet back here. And then another cabinet door underneath the sink. And then back here, these two compartments are completely open. You don't have cabinet doors or anything on them. So, you know, if you're worried about stuff falling out, what I've seen a lot of customers do is they'll just get some like bungee cargo nets off Amazon or something and stick them across this. Probably a good idea just to make sure nothing falls out. I don't know why they don't offer these with cabinet doors or something, but again, you just get some bungee nets or something and you can make it work so you can fully utilize all the storage in there. And then again, same opening windows with the day and night shades built in, and then a little bit more storage all the way at the top. And we also have a little hanging spot right here. If you have a towel or anything you want to hang up, you have a towel hook for that right there on the wall. Okay, so now we'll head up front and we'll take a look at that control panel so I can show you guys how all the controls for this coach work. So it's going to be right here on the wall on the side. And this will not be obstructed at all when you close the slide. You still have more than enough room to stand here and access this control panel. So everything in the coach is going to be controlled by this Firefly system right here. So right here on our home screen, you can control most of the functions. So first off, we can see our fresh, gray, black, and propane tank capacities. Now obviously, fresh, gray, and black are all empty. This is a brand new coach, but our propane tank's at 69%. We can turn on our tank heaters. So those are those 12-volt heaters for our 75-gallon black and gray tanks. We can start or stop our water pump from there. I can see my chassis and house battery voltage. We can start or stop our generator. We have a light master on and off switch, and then we can see the temperature of the front and rear of the coach. Next control panel is going to be just dedicated to lighting. So again, we have a master switch for the interior on and off, but you can control every one of these individually. And what's cool is with our master switch, if I want to go and toggle one or two of these off, when I turn the master switch off and then back on, it's going to keep on whatever I have selected here. And every single one of these you see with the up and down arrows, all of these lights are also dimmable. So every single light in this coach, except for your floor accent and your living accent, are all dimmable lights. And that will also be remembered by the master light switch. So if I want to dim our living room lights all the way down, maybe you don't like bright overhead lights, whenever you turn your interior master switch off and on, it's going to retain that setting. You don't have to worry about dimming it again. Next up is going to be our electrical. So this is just showing everything that's going on with our electrical. Again, we can see our house and chassis battery voltage. It'll show what your power source is. If we were connected to shore, what the amperage is. Obviously, we're not connected to shore power at the moment. We could start or stop our generator from there. I can also go in and see what's going on with our solar. So again, this has 3 200-watt solar panels up on the roof. It's not too sunny right now, but at the moment we're getting 200 watts, about 199 to 209 watts of solar. Next one's going to be climate control. So this has two 15K BTU AC units with heat pumps built in. So all of that's going to be controlled from here. I can put this on cool, heat pump. I can control the fan speed if you want to just have it blow fresh air just to keep it recirculating. And then our furnace is going to be controlled from there. So again, our furnace is powered by propane. It's a 35K BTU propane furnace. I could also start or stop our AquaGo from there. Next up is going to be the vent fans. So these are the vent fans for your mid bath and rear bath. Again, these can be controlled from the touch panel on the wall in the bathrooms themselves. But if for some reason you wanted to control them here, or maybe you just want to put them down, you know, if you're about to go drive away and you don't want to run back to the bathroom to do it, you can control all that from the Firefly system. And then finally, we're going to have the awnings and the slides. So slides, awnings, and leveling is all controlled from right here. So we have our 3 slides and we have that exterior dual pitch awning. All of that's going to be controlled from in here. And I can also control our leveling from here. So this is the EQ leveling system. It's automatic leveling. All you have to do is go in here and touch auto level. It'll completely level the coach for you. And then you can adjust it manually if you wanted to. Maybe you feel like one end didn't quite get it right. You can go in and adjust that manually. Important note about the slides with Renegade. You do not have to have the ignition or anything running to operate the slides. All you need is the house batteries on and you can use the slides. So no need to make sure you have the ignition key every time you want to run your slides. Our last one in here is just going to be the settings. So I can change the screen brightness in here if you want it to be a little dimmer, especially if you have someone sleeping in the living room, you might want to dim that a little bit. You change the time in here. You can change if you wanted to display the temperature in Fahrenheit or Celsius. And we also will go in here to pair this to our mobile app. So every single thing I just showed you in this control panel can all be controlled from an app on your phone. If you download, it's called the Vega Touch Mira app, you just connect to this via Bluetooth. We can control everything in this from our phone. What is really nice about that feature, especially with this one having dual slides, if you're at a campground and you're worried, maybe you're parked a little bit too close to the person next to you, or maybe you're parked a little bit too close to a tree, you don't want to have to, run your slides out a couple inches and then run outside and check and then come back inside. It's really a hassle to go and do that back and forth. So having that on your phone is really invaluable because now I can just stand outside, I can touch the button and I can sit there and visually watch my slides go in and out. Same thing with your leveling. When you level your coach, you want to make sure you're staying still. So if you don't want to, sit in the coach and have to wait a minute or two, you can just walk outside, go on your phone and touch auto level, and it's going to do the whole thing without you even in the motorhome. So that app is just a really awesome thing to have. So now we'll head up front and finish off up in the chassis. So again, now that I have this cab over bunk slid all the way up, I don't have to worry about ducking down or anything to get in here. I can walk right in and just sit down. Don't have to worry about bumping your head. If you do bump your head, this is all soft touch all the way around. Almost everyone's gonna bump their head at some point getting in and out of this cab, even though it's all the way back here. It happens to the best of us, but it is nice that it's all soft touch. So when you hit your head, it's not gonna hurt as much. So I'll go ahead and start the chassis. Take a look at some of the controls up here in the cab. So both of our front seats up here are going to be air ride seats. These are manual adjustments. So I can slide this forward and back. The air is going to raise it up and down. We have a lever on the side to be able to tilt this back or forward. And we have our armrests. Now, these are swivel seats. They're on a swivel pedestal, which means you can turn these around 180 degrees and face them towards the cab. So if you're having a party, you're having over a lot of guests and you want to use this as additional seating, all you gotta do is spin these seats around and you have 2 more comfortable seats to add. We also have our privacy curtain here. It's gonna pull all the way around on this track, and that privacy curtain will sit behind your seats. So even if you have those seats spun around, the privacy curtain is gonna be behind you. So you can fully black out this cab up front and still retain use of your front seats. Now, first off, we have our backup camera right here. So this coach is gonna have 3 cameras. You have a backup camera in the rear, which is always on. So whenever I'm going down the road, you're going down the highway, that camera is always going to be on, allowing you to see what's behind you. That's a really great safety feature to have. But they're also gonna have 2 side cameras. Now your side cameras are mounted up to on the hood, right above your tires. So if I turn on my left blinker, that's gonna activate my left camera. If I turn on my right blinker, it's gonna activate my right camera. The other cool thing about this camera system, wait for it to go back to our rear camera. So when I put this in reverse, it's actually going to have audio as well. So if somebody's back there trying to guide you to hook up a trailer or something, it's kind of a cool feature to have audio for that. To be honest with you, they'd have to be pretty loud for you to hear them, but still a cool feature to have, and you can control the volume for that right on here as well. Now, every Valencia is going to come with this detachable little Garmin system. Not a lot you can do with this unless you have the Garmin app. You actually have to set this up with the Garmin app, but then you can use this for navigation. You can download all these different apps through Garmin. So a lot of things you can do with this, but you will have to have the Garmin app in order to do it. But I love that this is just detachable. So it just magnets on right there. So if your passenger wants to, grab it off the dash and sit back and program in your navigation or anything like that, it's really nice to be able to just pull that off versus having to lean all the way up here. When you remove that, you're also going to have the controls for the stereo. So you have the volume controls on there. You have the skip functions all built in right behind your Garmin. Also on the dash is going to be a manual control for our EQ leveling. So there's 3 ways in total that you could control the leveling for this coach. Number 1 is going to be through the Firefly system. Number 2 is going to be through your app. And then number 3 is going to be through the panel right here on your dash. And again, all we have to do is hit power and auto level, and it'll level itself. Couple of switches up here real quick. So that's going to be our hazard lights. We have our dome light and footwell light. And you also have a fast idle switch down here. So your fast idle switch, all that's going to do is change your idle from about 700 RPMs to about 1200 RPMs. The thing that's convenient for is airing up your suspension, airing up your air brakes. So you have to wait for this to get to about 100 PSI before you start driving away. But the faster your engine's moving, the more power there is to that air compressor to air it up. So if you get in your cab and just switch that fast idle switch on, it'll just help it air up a little bit quicker. And you also have a suspension dump for your rear air suspension. So if you need to, drop it down a little bit lower to get hooked up to a hitch or something, you just switch that right there. Below that's going to be all of our HVAC controls. So we have our fan speed and our hot and cold. This is all going to be manual. And then on our dash right in front of me, so this is going to have an Allison transmission. And the new 2026s and 2025s, you used to have all your shifter built in to the door right here next to you. Now it is all going to be on this little paddle shifter right here, which is just so convenient. This coach is going to have an exhaust brake, so your exhaust brake will be controlled by this. You just switch that down to activate your exhaust brake, up to turn it off. We have D, N, and R on a switch right here. So your shifting is going to be done just right on that knob. And then if you want to use this in manual, you can push in the end of this to switch to manual, and then this becomes a paddle shifter for up and down. So super, super simple. And then finally, our air brake is going to be right here. So our air brake controls, you just pull that out to apply them or push it in to release your air brakes and get rolling. All right, so that is going to wrap up our tour for today. Again, my name is Peter C. All of my information is right here on this clipboard. You can reach me, call or text at 719-799-8357 or email me at peter.seay@transwest.com. If you guys have any questions about this Valencia at all, we try to do our best to cover everything in the videos, but every single time there's going to be some stuff that we missed. So if there's any questions you have about this coach at all, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to help you. Thanks for watching our video.